Let's sculpt a box of chocolates using Model Magic. Let's begin with a 1-ounce package of white Model Magic. It is easiest to use scissors to open the package and also to portion the Model Magic. Cut your Model Magic into 6 approximately even pieces. We are going to work with 3 basic shapes to make our Model Magic candies. The first shape is a round candy, so you are going to take your Model Magic and after kneading it, roll it into a sphere, and then use your hand to gently flatten that a little bit so that it doesn't roll away. The second shape we're going to be making is a squared candy. So again, knead and smush the Model Magic, and then after you have rolled it into a sphere, use a tapping technique to flatten the edges, almost like you're making a cube, and then use your palm to flatten that even more so that it is more of a candy shape and less of a tall cube. The final shape we're working with is a heart shape. It is a variation of the sphere, so you're going to start out the same way as the sphere, but then you're going to make a point on one end using your fingers, and then you're going to make an indent on the opposite side to make the top of the heart shape. Again, you're going to use your palm to flatten it a little so that it resembles a piece of chocolate candy. The shapes that we just made would be great for very simple candies, but what if you want a decorated candy or something that has a design to it? What you're going to do is take a little bit of the Model Magic that you would normally use to make the piece of candy, set that aside because you're going to use that for the decoration, then make any shaped candy that you want, and then we will use that extra piece to roll it out into a very, very thin coil that we can position onto the candy in different ways. We can make shapes with it, we can make swirls with it, we can make overlapping patterns with it, many different options if you're going to use a thin coil. Now, if you don't want to use a thin coil to make your decoration, there are other things you can do as well. You can use a found object or a tool to make an impression or indent into the Model Magic. You can also use a small piece of set aside Model Magic, roll that into a really tiny sphere, and place that flattened on top of the candy shape. It will look like it has a little bit of a layered circle shape on it that you can add. You could use that to do multiple small spheres and make a polka dotted candy. So lots of different things you can do. Look around you to see what objects you have that you could press into the Model Magic to make nice designs. Once your Model Magic candies have completely hardened, you're going to want to add some color, and an easy way to do that is to use just markers. So you can use markers to color on hardened Model Magic to make them any color that you want. In this case, we're going to use brown for chocolates. So you can also use other materials like watercolors or tempera or acrylic paints, depending on what kind of finish you want for your chocolates. When you're using the markers, though, you might notice that it's hard to get into some of the cracks and crevices. There is a trick to help you do that. The trick to help you fill in all of those spaces when you're using a water-based marker is to add water. And the way you can do that is with a damp, not super wet, but damp paintbrush that will spread the marker ink around into any of the places that you might not have been able to reach. It also lightens the color of the marker, so again, it depends on what type of look you're going for in your finished chocolates. If you don't have a paintbrush, you could even use a cotton swab, although honestly, a cotton swab doesn't work quite as well. Sometimes the cotton swab can actually lift the color off of the Model Magic, which is something you really don't want to happen. So look at what you have for tools and make the best decision for what you have and what you want your chocolate to look like. Once you've colored all of your chocolates, you're most likely going to want to put them into some type of paper liner or foil liner, and you're going to want them to stay there permanently. So the way to do that is to use some glue. You're just going to put a little bit of glue-all glue into the base of the cupcake liner and then gently press your candy into it. You could also use other types of glue to do this, like tacky glue or even hot glue, although hot glue could sometimes melt the Model Magic, so be careful with that. Now, markers used on Model Magic unfortunately are not light fast. The colors can fade, so if you want these to be more permanent, you might want to add some type of sealant over them. Once you've made your candies, you're probably going to want to put them into some type of box or container. And if you have already made boxes, that of course is the easiest. But if you don't, here is a way that you could make a simple origami box using these 6-inch square pieces of origami paper. It will hold approximately 6 candies if you've made them the same size as in this video. So everything we're going to do it twice because this box is going to have a top and a bottom. So the first step is going to be to fold each of your 2 papers into thirds. Next, you're going to want to open up the folded paper and then flip it over so that you have mountain folds. So flip the whole thing over so that you have mountain folds, and then what you're going to do is on each of the sides, you're going to fold up the edge to meet that mountain fold on either side of the paper. So do that to the top and the bottom of the paper. Now flip each of the 2 papers over and fold those folds back up again. So now it's going to kind of almost look like window shutters. From this position, you are going to fold up the bottom part and then fold over the top corner so that it goes to the crease or fold, and then do the same thing on the other top corner. And then you're going to repeat to fold up the bottom corner. So you're going to go to the one bottom corner and then the other bottom corner and fold it up. It's a little bit like making a paper airplane at this point. So when you're folding the triangles, it should resemble when you're folding up a paper airplane. Remember to do the exact same thing for your second piece of paper. Now you're going to fold down the part that you had folded the corners over, fold down one more time, almost like flipping the pages of a book. And on this part, you're now going to fold the corners of those two skinny rectangles. So the bottom rectangle and the top rectangle. It's pretty much doing the same thing you did to the other side of the paper. It's just now on the opposite side. So you're going to fold those triangles in, just like you did before, and again, remember to do this to both pieces of paper. Now you're going to fold over the part that was facing you, so that way the corners that you folded over are hidden. They're not visible from the top view. And in the middle, it should look almost like a mouth or open mouth area. Now it's time to make the box shape. So put your fingers into that open area and you're going to spread the paper open, and as you do, it's going to automatically start opening up into a box. Where you had your corners of your triangles, you just want to kind of pinch to make the edges of that box. Do it to both sides of the rectangle, and you should have a small rectangular tray or bottom of the box. And then when you do the same thing to the other side, you're going to make the top of the box, and the two pieces can actually fit inside of each other so that you have a bottom and a top lid. So again, you're going to open up where that sort of mouth area is, just pull the two sides open and then pinch the corners where the triangular folds were, and you will have all four edges of a rectangular box. Then just fit the two pieces together and you have assembled the box, and you can put your candies inside. Here you can see what the candies look like in the box. These candies were actually painted with acrylic paint.